Hi everybody and welcome to the Cardboard Guide. We are here to open our first product from this TCG, which is Genesis Battle of Champions. And I need to give a huge shout out to Moochhound, who was kind enough to write and ask us if we might be interested in taking over his Kickstarter box. So this is actually what we have here, guys. We have his entire Kickstarter box that he pledged for down here, and we're going to open it. So keep in mind, we're completely new to it. This is our perspective as coming from someone who's played loads of other TCGs, but we don't know this.
We're going to look at the cards, we're going to assess the card quality and look at the art and look at the rules and see if it's
fairly easy to
understand. So this Kickstarter is actually to raise some capital to make new stuff.
Yeah, just to raise awareness about their game. This company is created by Azad, and he has made the company Haunted Castle Gaming, and they have produced, I think this is their 5th or 6th set already, and I'm hearing a lot of good things about the gameplay, and I'm just really excited to look at it. This is the type of TCG where you have your cards, but you also have a grid, a 6x5 grid that you're going to be playing on. So there's a lot of strategy involved as well. You're going to be able to maneuver around this grid, and I think that's a lot of fun and a really cool concept that we haven't tried out. But we're D&D players, so we're used to having a grid. So this is everything in the box. This is so cool. I really have to thank you again, Moochhound. This is above and beyond. Just in a moment, we're going to be discussing that we really want to pay it forward to all of you, our subscribers. Stay tuned, listen up. We're going to dive into all the products you see here, and we're going to tell you a bit about what we'll be giving away.
So this is the Kickstarter, and we have this 2-player starter deck, and we have a Genesis Origins Kickstarter booster box and
24 packs.
We have some promo pack cards and a special hero here, and
I think there's more than one card in there.
No, there's only one card.
Okay, that is a very cool card.
That.
I don't know if you're catching it, but it is both in a very nice fold, but it is actually also serialized. So we got number 469. Okay, sorry for the joke there. Out of what,
550? This is a hero, and your deck is, made up of these heroes, and the deck is called a timeline.
Yeah, it's a timeline, and your hand, so the cards that you have in your hand is going to be called your thoughts. I think that's a very interesting concept, and instead of building your deck around, what can you say, power or a certain definition of cards, you get to build it pretty much freely, I think, as long as you don't have more than 250 chi, which is a value that is given to each of the cards, so you can build up to a certain maximum, and a timeline, which is your deck, consists of 50 cards.
But you can use up to 250 chi. We have out here, the top one here is the world.
And we're in Jaelara right now, I believe.
And that is the only world so far in Genesis, but I think more are to come. And then you have affiliations, so your hero character has some different affiliations, and there are 5 different affiliations. This hero has the affiliation, the red one.
The red one.
It's called Timos.
Yeah, and that actually is very fun because I was just reading all the affiliations, and as someone who knows ancient Greek and Latin, it was a very fun little read because the red one is Timos, as Jens said, which can translate into passion or very powerful emotions.
And the next one, it's called Axon. And it symbolizes the elements, I believe.
Yeah, it's sort of, it represents mastery, and that's also from ancient Greek, and it actually translates into something that's called almost like axis, and can also be used about neurons and brain cells. I imagine the blue is sort of like a blue in Magic the Gathering.
We mentioned earlier, when you build your deck, you have these 250 chi that you can build from. So the points that you can build up to, and it resembles a little bit about if you have played Warhammer.
Yeah, you have points.
Having the Warhammer army where you get some kind of value to build your army from. This game is played on a grid, and it has some Dungeons & Dragons feel to it. For instance, this hero, you can see the hero there, and the way it points, and that is the direction of line of sight and the direction it can attack.
I think that's really cool. I like the whole idea that this is sort of a war game along the lines of Warhammer. It's also a collectible card game, a TCG as we know it in other aspects where you build decks. So there's a lot of strategy, I would imagine, involved in the gameplay.
So you get 2 foil promo cards when you buy a Kickstarter. You get this Tsunami, which is a water attack with 2 times 3 spaces on the grid.
Exactly.
And
I do believe it is also actually an epic rare because the Tsunami is in the extended art.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's called Shone, and I think that's a hero too.
That's another hero.
A vampire hero.
But they're actually called starters and not heroes, as you see down here. Oh. So anything that's a starter is a hero, which I think actually makes good sense because you start with your hero.
And another one, a vampire also. And another one.
Oh, so I think you get all these heroes in a foil if you got along with the backing the Kickstarter.
We talked about the foiling, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is actually a texture in this foiling. When you move it up and down, there come some lines. Can you see it?
No, not from this angle, but cool. I think that's very nice. Some very cool heroes here that you got if you back this Kickstarter.
A human ranger with a nice little range to her, and a fighter, and a mage. Oh, and look, that was the hero from before.
Okay, cool, but with some different art if you noticed.
And a fairy.
Ooh.
And another fairy.
I think the art for the heroes here is very well done and very flavorful.
It's an elf.
It's an elf. Okay, you're happy. So now he's going to pay Genesis without a doubt.
Another elf.
No.
And another nice name for an elf, Idiris.
Yes, and I like the art of it. Very nice. Okay, so that was very cool. Okay, so what else do we have? We also have the coin and the sticker and these
so there's this
poker chip.
Yeah, that's a poker chip. Yeah.
I suppose.
But it has some lightweight to it.
Yeah, it feels very heavy quality stuff. Yeah. And then you have a sticker as well, and then the affiliation coins.
Affiliation coins.
I don't know if they're just really cool or if you use it for something in the game.
You might place them next to your side of the table to represent what kind of affiliations your hero character are involved with. But it's a nice little box, and there's also a magnet inside, so when it closes, it just smack.
Very nice quality. Look out for the next Genesis Battle of Champions, where we have sleeved this up and we're going to try and play it. Let's crack some packs.
Let's get cracking.
Okay, people, so we are going to leave 5 of the packs unopened for you to claim. If you're interested in claiming these packs, let us know what your experience is with Genesis Battle of Champions. If you don't know about it, cool enough. But if you do know about it, let us know if you've played, if you played competitively, and what kind of decks you enjoy building. So let us know down in the comment section if you want to win 5 packs and a little something extra from us. Oh, I have to say this, there's a little
box toppers in this product.
Who doesn't love a good box topper?
Exactly. So let's.
Sneaky! Yeah. So you don't know what you get. Okay, this is very enticing. So. Okay,
so there they are.
What are we getting here?
Let's see. Wow.
Ooh, that is an epic. If you look down here, this symbol will let you know down the bottom which rarity the card is. And it is a beautiful foil.
Yeah. So in this game you get commons, uncommons, and rares. And then the rares can also be full boarded, and then they're called epic.
Yeah, they can have some sort of like, I believe they're calling it extended art in Genesis. But yeah, exactly.
All these terms.
All these different terms. What else?
Volley of arrows.
That looks very cool.
Area range attack technique.
I'm guessing that there is a ranger of some sort for you to play.
And, whoa, electrical storm.
That looks really cool.
It really does.
Okay, so some awesome cards here. We really should get sleeved up.
That was the box toppers, yeah. So, should we open some?
Yeah, but let's just go ahead and maybe grab these out and then get out 5 packs for our winner of the giveaway.
Yeah.
We really wanted to pay it forward because Moonchild has been so kind. So let's just get those 5 packs out and chosen for our giveaway here. So let's do a little shuffle or pick different ones.
There are the 5 packs.
So remember, comment section, let us know what your experience is with Genesis Battle of Champions.
So, first impression, the packs seem tight.
So they're not going to be slipping around and bumping.
There's a little room, a little wiggle room, but I don't think they'll be slipping around
so
much.
Let's also hear, how do you feel about, so it's from Canada, I can see, made in Canada. And it does have little affiliation symbols down. But is there a pull tab or do you just crack it?
I just think you crack it. I see no pull tab. Okay, easy to open. On the back side, I think the cards, they look really shiny. There's a lot of
there's
gloss
a nice
to
gloss,
them.
definitely.
Yeah, so, all right.
So you're opening directly into your commons right now, I think?
Yeah, it says down on the bottom.
Cool.
So, common, spinning back fist.
So what is your impression of the art? It seems very, like they're not in one specific style, but definitely like a dark style genre of, fantasy.
There's a lot of variation on them, I think. I think some of the cards are gorgeous.
And the rare?
Some of them are looking a little, it looks like early Magic.
Yes, some of it, but I think some of it is very, very nice. And but there's a lot of different types of art styles. I think that can be really appealing as well. Like that's actually really well done.
Great hoof. But I'm really liking the concept about having these area effects.
Yeah, I like the idea that I think it will be really strategic, that you both have to build your deck and you still have to sort of understand and maintain some sort of board presence on the grid. Okay, so I already can see there's a lot of different sort of keywords, we would call it in Magic, that sort of does different things and has different effects.
Here you have action, you have swift, you have trigger.
Yeah, I think the swift and the trigger maybe is referring to the speed at which you can cast them. So this only works if it triggers, or you can cast it as something swift.
Yeah, that translates really well into the Dungeons & Dragons feel, where you also have swift actions and full actions and movement.
Exactly.
Also because I think you also have movement on your hero character.
Yeah, you do. And also I believe that this game is very much like some of the newer TCGs. You enter into the arena fully decked out, you have all your stuff and you don't have to build up to it. And then the purpose of the game is to get your opponent's life total to 0. So this is something you do by casting different spells. Oh, there's a foil card.
Nice.
That is a cool foil card.
That is an Hand of Swords.
So you start with your full set of equipment out and then you go to battle against your opponent. I kind of like that, and I also think that eliminates sort of the whole variance issue with resources like you have in Magic. You're not building up to something, you're not going to be stuck because you're mana flooded or mana starved. You're just able to get to it.
Yeah, even though I like this, I like the build up in Magic.
Yeah. I think sometimes it can be less confusing, that you sort of get to know what each of your opponent's cards can do before you have a full board state.
But then again, it can be really frustrating if you become mana starved.
Indeed, and I think a lot of modern games are moving away from the whole idea about having certain resources, because you can get really gridlocked in the game, and then the game is not really a lot of fun. So I believe that in these packs you either get the set of commons, uncommons, and then you get 2 rares. Sometimes you can also have this epic rare, but it is really rare. It is 1 out of 17 packs, and I think the foil only occurs in like 1 out of 7 packs.
So
you could
lucky
be lucky
with that hand.
Exactly, you can have like around 3, I would imagine, and if you're really lucky, 4 in a booster box. So foils are definitely meant to be rare,
and well, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Scary looking.
Whoa.
Oh, so there's one where you got, and that's the epic rare, which means it's extended art of the tsunami. You can also get it in the rare version, and then it will be with the normal border. And
so now I have 2 tsunamis.
And another starter hero here. Not only are they in foil, they're actually in an alternate art version if you got the starter pack, which is really cool, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a
I think that's a
little
really
added
nice
bonus for
definitely nice touch
for backers.
Okay, so I think it's fairly easy to. I'm just gonna have a look at some of these hero cards and see if I can just fairly easy get an idea about what they do.
Yeah, but so far opening it, I think it has an old school feel to it that I really like. And I think the cards look interesting, and I think there's a lot of variants. I don't think you see all the same cards all the time.
No, I would say my only point I would mention is that some of this art is really nice for these foil heroes, and I'm a bit sad that these different boxes, you know, regarding the health and aura and all these things are in the art itself. And I mean, that's a decision you have to make about how your card design is going to look, but I wish I could see the art without any of this interfering with it. And looking at the cards, I have to say I think most of this seems fairly straightforward. I would have to try it before knowing it, but it seems like I would know how to play if I had a couple of rounds. Okay, now I see it. Yeah, there is definitely some texture to the kasha. Yeah, but I couldn't see it from the other angle.
Oh, it's really subtle.
It's very subtle, but it's very nice. And it isn't texture that you can feel, but it is a texturing of the foil itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it looks like maybe like a herring or something. You know, that's.
Oh yeah, like a fishbone sort of pattern in the background. Yeah, definitely. So I also think the art looks very old school.
Yeah.
Like a very dark fantasy old school sort of thing. And I like the fact that you're getting a hero in every pack, right? Until now?
No, not every pack.
Okay, almost every pack.
Yeah, so you should be set on a hero pretty fast.
You have a nice little, you know, repertoire of heroes to play from if you just crack a booster box.
And I think that's nice, that if you crack a booster box, you're ready to play. That's also something we talked about. Actually, now if you don't buy fat packs and stuff like that in Magic, you might actually have a hard time as a new player coming into the game, because manas are actually kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, at least if you have to, you gather up enough mana to play commander, or actually also if you just want to play a deck, that's a lot of packs to crack. But of course you can buy them as singles, but if you're just expecting that you can play from getting a booster box, that's not necessarily going to happen.
No, so I like the concept here where you might be able to get a game just right out of the box.
Exactly. I think you can pretty much build a deck. I would have to, try it out and see how much is a 250 chi actually. And can you actually build enough, because you also have to remember that the starter cards or your heroes affiliation affects what you can build with your deck.
Are those the chi value, you think?
Nope.
Why can you see those?
I don't know, maybe.
Was that the chi value? Maybe 7?
I am going to try and look that up somehow.
But yeah, I think that's actually maybe the only hindrance in just going to play the game really fast, that you have to do math. Math is hard.
Math is very hard. Okay, so no, the chi value will be the gray. Can I just show you on the camera on a card? This up here will be your chi value.
Okay.
So
not much difference between common cards and rare cards.
No, not necessarily, I think, anyway. Okay, so, but very interesting, very interesting. The whole point is that you're going to be constructing a timeline. That's your deck. Your hand will be your thoughts. The discard part is called your memories. And if you have cards that are, out of your game area, it's going to be called your subconscious. You're going to be building this, and the scale of chi is a power balance system, and the scale is between 3 and 8. Okay. That's the maximum amount of chi that you can have.
So it sounds like that you're...
But you need to balance it. So this is what the rulebook says. It says, keep in mind the ratio of cards you put into your timeline. While 8 chi cards can be a blast to play, for every 8 chi in your timeline, you will have to balance it with 2 weaker 3 or 4 chi cards.
So finding the right balance between
very powerful
power
cards and useful
some
cards,
kind of economy.
Probably. Yeah.
Also because you have to have 50 cards. So
yeah, exactly.
So it's really a balancing act.
So I'm just gonna...
We got an epic rare there.
Oh, that's cool. A cackling scavenger.
So imagine getting these in foil. That is going to be...
Yeah, I really do like the... I really do like the foil. Occupancy. Oh.
So you can
sort of
occupy
like block spaces. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so but I'm just gonna go over this also. So you can get champion cards, which will be the starter cards, your hero cards. And you can get timeline cards that you can build into your deck. And of the timeline cards, there's both spells, techniques, summons, alterations, and enchantments. So there are like 5 subdivisions of your timeline cards that you can use to build with. And they, of course, all sort of affect different things.
And can all heroes use all kind of techniques?
I believe as long as they are a part of your affiliation, yes.
Okay.
But do not, or please do actually yell at me in the comment section if I'm wrong. Yep, so the top one on your hero will actually be the one that says Swift or something is the speed. Then there's ability name and a cost of the ability and ability effect. I would actually like to try this out. I'm getting kind of curious, just looking at the cards and going, I really want to try the whole idea about also having, but I do feel like you might be really good at this.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, which
you
I
said
of course...
after having wiped me in magic and having wiped me in flesh and blood.
I was giving you the chance of a fresh start here, but if you're not taking it, yes, of course, I have kicked your butt quite a lot in 2 TCGs. But I do think that you would be really good at, sort of strategizing around the different grids and then also deck building. I think you tend to have a hang of that quicker than I do. So now we've opened everything. What is your first impression?
My first impression is that it seems fun and it seems really tactical, and it seems like there's a lot of hard decisions to be made on this battle grid, and I think there's going to go a lot of calculations into building decks. I think the cards are nice. I think maybe they're a little thin.
I don't know, for me I think it's like somewhere between, and I hate that you have to compare other TCGs to this, but somewhere between like a decent magic card and a really good magic card. So I think this is a nice card. I think it has the right amount of gloss, however. It's not too glossy, but still it's glossy enough this night. And then I noticed that a few of the cards had some pretty rough cuts, but in general I do think it looks, just going to try if I can boop you over here. It does seem to have some very decent cuts here. Seems to be a nice quality of the cards.
And it also looks like there are actually some cards here available for all classes. So that's a nice feature.
Okay, so you have sort of like a more generic that will fit into any deck.
Yeah, I think the art is a little old school compared to what you might be used to.
Yeah.
But I actually like it. I think it has a lot of personality going for it.
I also think it has some charm and individuality that I do like to see, because it feels more, I don't know, organic. But I do think that if you look at the hero cards over here, in general you have some more, it feels like they spent a lot of blood, sweat and tears into getting the heroes right. And then most of the cards in the normal, timeline type cards are very nice, and then some of them are a little more on the rough side in terms of art.
This, for instance.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised. My only sort of thing I would have to complain about is that these different values and stats, I would have loved to see them placed somewhere else. But exactly. I mean, that's a fairly small complaint and still very fine. And if you have them in the epic rare, it's going to be the extended art.
Yeah. And also you could say that these foils do crinkle a lot.
Please do have a look at this one. This one is one that has not been out, but in the protection behind the booster pack and in the booster box. Yeah. And it is definitely not crinkling to the same degree as this one.
It really seems like, you know, an old fantasy game, or maybe some of the old Dungeons & Dragons rule books. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I want to get into gameplay. I mean, opening it, I definitely think, okay, cool, what does this do? How will this affect, have any consequences? And how will this whole board state, where you have to play on the grid as well as getting all these cards into a deck that feels cohesive and playable. I think that's a very interesting thing. So that was our first TCG, looking at the TCG Spotlight, looking at Genesis.
Yeah.
And I think it was a very nice first introduction. We are definitely going to be opening the starter deck, having a go at it.
I'm looking really much forward to actually playing this game. I think it looks really promising. And it seems like there's a lot of depth and a lot of tactical, you know, thinking and maneuverability going around. So that's going to be really fun. Thank you to Moochhound. And also, Moochhound, thank you for the reinforcements for the SLE deck. I'm looking forward to actually using those cards.
Yeah, okay. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this first look at it, and we will be back with another game testing and gameplay of the 2 starter deck set.